Reginald here. Good evening, and I hope you're all doing well. I have more stuff to get to than time for it, so I'm going to run through this quickly. I have a couple builds for you that are solid into Havoc 40s, and I'm sure you're curious what I've been up to, so I figured I'd provide. These builds are slightly themed, but also very fun. So for the first build, this is a break the line build. I will be using either the Mark 6 or the Mark 11, 11, Shock Maul and Suppression Shield. In this case, I'll actually be dumping power output. After some study, this seems to be better. I'll be running on Yielding and Maniacs, but you could easily do Flak Maniac instead. High Voltage and Hammer Blow. Now, I have tested other blessings, including Opportunist, and Opportunist does feel nice, but Hammer Blow's impact advantage is significant. And yes, obviously, Forceful puts up a lot of impact as well, but man, Hammer Blow just lets me knock everything over. So it's up to you on this one. You can play around since we are taking the Forceful Keystone, but still. Exterminator Shotgun, this thing is busted. If you don't know that and you don't think it's good, there are a couple of people who've been talking about this and not being that good. They pop into my comments all the time to let me know that actually this shotgun is not S tier, it's terrible into Havocs, and I don't know what I'm talking about. And that is because they don't know what they're talking about. Let me show you two things. The first of these is my Havoc 40 testing apparatus, where I can kill this group of maniacs in 5 seconds.
I want them dead! We have a ranger! Ranger close!
Which is the fastest TTK of anything I've so far tested. It's disgusting. And it works pretty well at most ranges out to about 15-20 meters, and then it starts to fall off after that. The other thing about this shotgun that you need to understand is minimum pellet count. People will say things like, oh, this gun has no range. And like, yeah, you're not going to be shooting flamers and you're not going to be shooting like groups of gunners at like 30 meters. You're going to have to advance on them, which is fine because this game has various methods of aggressing. But let me show you what minimum pellet count allows. Do you see this sniper? He is 100 meters away. Now he is dead. It actually only took me 3 shots because I missed one. You see, the way minimum pellet count works is after a certain distance, if any projectile hits the target, then there is a minimum number of projectiles that are automatically considered to have hit the target by the game logic. And so it might be something like 3 or 4 pellets are automatically considered a hit, even if only 1 actually technically hit. This makes shotguns more consistent at longer ranges, allowing you to actually kill things that are slightly farther away. Real shotguns in real life are capable of delivering lethal blows out to 100 meters, though obviously with some difficulty, so are these shotguns. And that doesn't make them good at long ranges, but it does make them effective enough against specific targets like weak little snipers to make this weapon good. For the Curios, we're going to be taking Toughness. Don't mind my 20% max health. This should be a Toughness. I just don't have one. For the talents. Okay, so we're actually going to be taking the right side tree here. We want Hammer of Judgment. We want Force of Will for staggering, Toughness regen, and we want Shield Plates. I know that Walk It Off is good, but we are going to get Toughness in other ways as well. We should be fine. We'll be taking Impact Grenades and our melee damage boost because we want because of pathing mostly. Arbitrator Armor and Ammo Capacity for our shotgun, and we're going to go through Concussive, of course. Because it's just so good. From there, we're really going to path through the Breaking Descent. This gives us extra damage against Staggered. We're going to be doing plenty of that. And we're going to be taking Lone Wolf to get regen on our Impact Grenades. We will be running a Break the Line build, so we're going to take Break the Line. We're going to take Commendation from Commendation and Targeted Brutality and Engage. We don't have to do all of these. You could easily ditch Engage if you really want to and like run, like, I don't know, get some extra nodes in here, but you don't have to do that, so I'm just going to leave it be. This Toughness DR node is very important, by the way. He doesn't have a lot of baseline Toughness DR, so it's good to grab what you can find. Justified Measures is good for damage pumping, and Arbites Revelatum. This 50% damage node, after a successful dodge, it applies to everything, including your grenades, so there you go. Hold the line down and to drive them back, which the cleave here benefits your gun if you do push cleave into shoot, and it has a fast draw time, so that's great. This rending is good for popping crushers a little faster when you're dealing with them with the Shock Maul and Shield, which doesn't have the fastest TTKs into that target. True Grit, of course, makes you tough as nails, and then we're going to be using this Forceful Keystone section. Now, it's up to you whether or not you want to take Adamant Will. I personally like it when I have it. I find that being able to tap the shield for perfect blocks can be really strong, but you don't have to use this. You can easily ditch this point and go somewhere else, like that aforementioned walk it off. You could easily path through if you pick up a couple extra points from the tree. Will of the Lex, of course, is strong and gives us toughness per stack. Regen, so that's solid. Like I said, we are getting toughness in the other areas, and target acquired, of course, is solid as well for attack speed and stuff. So there's a number of ways you can do this, but this is how I've been running it, and it feels fine. Let's move on to the next build. For this one, we're going to be using the baseline Mark III Arbites Shock Maul. I find that this is really good. You can dump on mobility, and I think that is probably the best stat to dump on. I run Maniac and Flak, but you could easily go into like Carapace or Unyielding for either of those and still be fine. This weapon slaps pretty good. I'd probably replace Flak since these are concussive, like blunt weapons. They tend to be decent into Flak, but hey, you need to decide this for yourself. I picked it for the Ragers. I hate fighting Drager and Scab Ragers, and I find that Crushers are much easier overall since they still die fairly fast. Execution and High Voltage has been tested over Relentless Strikes, and it is better. It is more consistent, gives you wider TTKs. The only thing that Relentless Strikes is good into is bosses. Havoc games are very messy, and you won't be hitting the same target that often sequentially to get a lot of the advantage. We're going to run the Executioner's Mark III shotgun again because it is indeed still disgusting. If you really want to run something else, like, go ahead, but I'm just advising you that this is going to be a huge damage pump for you and you're losing out on a lot. For our Curios, we're actually running the same thing. Don't mind my 20% max health. This should be a toughness. I just don't have one. I would run 2 Gunner Resist, 3 Combat Ability Generation, and plenty of toughness. The one thing I would add to this is you can probably replace one of these toughness nodes with maybe like a stamina regen, though you don't have to. So that's up to you. Let's go into the build. We're going to actually take this big chunk up here. I think this is solid and a really good way to have toughness for like economy for most of the game. So that's how I run it. Remote detonation here. This is especially good if your team is going to take advantage of that boss stagger. Voltaic Mandibles is basically non-optional if you're running Dog. It basically doubles Dog's DPS and makes it actually useful into most targets. We'll be running Concussive again. We'll drive down across into Castigator stance. We're going to take Blessed Armament specifically. This will allow you to fire your shotgun a whole lot into big groups of enemies and is really strong. The main thing I've developed over my previous Castigator's build is I am going to run down here to grab all these nodes. But if you're not running No Lenience, then Prosecution Blow is also not really worth it. So I'm ditching both of these nodes, and I don't care about the Dog advantage. So I'm just going to take Malacator, which is cooldown reduction, and keeping Protocol for extra boss damage where this class suffers. The rest of these nodes are fine, but most of it's stacked up inside the Execution Order Keystone itself. Obviously, Soul Guilt Stand is very strong with its weak spot Strength, which, in case you don't know, Strength is actually all of the above. It is damage, cleave, and stagger, so it is a powerful ability for weak spot hits, which does, by the way, work on melee. Rebreather is kind of busted, and that's why I keep picking it. It basically makes you immune to corruption. And as much as corruption can, like, Tox Gas effects are pretty annoying in Havoc, and so just having it out is nice. Then we're going to go down and get True Grit again, because of course True Grit is really good. Alright everybody, that was the Arbites builds for Havoc 40 that I put together so far. They're reliable and I like them. The class is very fun to play in Havoc 40, even though it is very strong, quite obviously. I do have some thoughts on that I'm working on, but I'll have to get to them on another day. Warm regards,
Reginald.
I would like to take a moment to provide an extra special thank you to Joseph Davison for becoming my second Oathmaker level member. Your support means a lot to me, genuinely. Thank you so much. I would also like to say thank you to Miles Williams Lewis for being an Adept level member for 5 months now. Thank you so much. It really helps out the channel a lot. And also, to my surprise, Fluff and Zimisk3 for becoming Adept level members this month. That's a huge deal for me. Thank you so much. Also, just a special shout out to all of the members who are supporting my channel, and to Vinny especially, who has made many of my members. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you to my members. You guys are awesome. If you would like a special shout out at the end of my video, you can join my channel by hitting the join button and becoming a member. Thank you everybody so much. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks for visiting, and bye-bye.